Good morning. It's going to about 5:45 on a lovely, pleasant Friday morning. I've managed to get a few hours sleep and I am on my way to Siena. It's not a direct bus. It connects in Milan for about an hour and a half. It's delayed at the moment by about 20 minutes. So but it's still plenty of time. It was a 2-hour connection, I think, so got plenty of time to get to Milan, and I can actually get a coffee because, as I say, nothing's open at the moment. I did get some pastries last night and some water, so it won't be a problem. Just no caffeine here until the middle of the morning, or the late morning, I should say. So just waiting for the. That's not the bus behind me. That one's going to Munich, and I think on to Budapest. But the bus should be here relatively soon and be able to get going to Tuscany. So let's get on it. Made it to Siena. It's still 25 degrees and it's about 7:20, so it's a hot day. It's been like that all day. Yeah, it's been a really long one. So we're an hour late getting picked up from Geneva, but there was a stop in Milan, so that hour delay has all come from Milan. We were late getting picked up from Milan, and there was some roadworks and contraflow. So I am now going to look for a taxi and get to my hostel. That's how I feel. Maybe I'll pop into the town and get some food. Maybe I'll just stay in the hostel and starve. But we'll see how I feel later. So taxi and hostel. I'm a little bit out of breath. That's because I've been dragging my suitcase downhill and uphill through this little wooded area to get to here, where I'll be sleeping tonight. This fixed tent. So this is basically a camping site, right? I booked on a hostel world, that's why I kept calling it a hostel, but it's basically a big camping site, lots of motorhomes, some space for your own personal tents, and then there's these things here. There's also some chalets as well, and you've got these tents here. I mean, this is huge. Go inside, and here it is. So there's 2 beds here. I assume I'm the only one here for the next 2 days. There's obviously electrical points, big shelf, so I'll put the pillow on this end. 2 chairs, little table, headroom for me. I can stand up in the middle. This is great. This is so nice, and it's really cheap. It was about 88 euros for the 2 nights, so £44 for this. 44 euros for this, I should say. It was about the same, isn't it? Wow, yeah. So I'm gonna go back up the hill to the main reception area. There is pizzeria, restaurant, bar, even a little shop. There's a lot of cyclists, and there's a youth football team, and there's obviously like campers and hikers here. So yeah, hopefully the weather's going to stay like this. There's also a pool down there, so I've got to bring some shorts. So if it's quite a hot day tomorrow, I might pop into a shop and get some shorts like I did in Kyrgyzstan last year, then have a little dip in the evening. It closes at 7 p.m. I think, so that should be fine. Yeah, so I was going to grab a quick shower. I think I'll grab some food first, and then I'm not going to go into the city centre now, too late really, and have a nice long sleep. Well, good morning from a beautiful sunny and warm 8 a.m. in Siena. Just had a really nice night's sleep in my little campsite, my little wooden tent. It was a good meal last night. I didn't stay out late. Been in bed by sort of 10 o'clock I think. Slept through to about 7. So I'm really comfortable. The mattress was a little bit hard, a little bit thin, but kind of quite tough as well. So it was actually quite comfortable. And I say just sleeping out in the tent was lovely. Early in the hours, it was a little bit chilly. I didn't put a duvet on, but you don't want a duvet on in this weather at all. It's just going to burn up. So yeah, I really needed that sleep after yesterday's tiring sojourn. Jesus, that was awful. So right now I'm just waiting for one of the 2 buses. There's a 3 or a 6, and there's a sign there. It says the 3 is coming at 21 minutes past. So I've got about 10 minutes to wait, 10 or 15 minutes. Can't see what the time is. So basically, I could walk in. It doesn't seem that far, but I just don't know. These tourist maps can be quite misleading, so I'm just going to get the bus. And no rush, and I'll be able to start my day. So next stop, Siena's historic city centre. I'll see you there. I've got to get some breakfast first. Yeah, that's the main thing. So breakfast next, then the city centre. So €6.40 for a croissant, or cornetto as they call it, a cappuccino, which took 30 seconds to make, unlike in Cafe Nero where they take 10 minutes. And this, a lievito classico, which, as you can see, is basically a jammy dodger. Even the Italians do jammy dodgers with class. So, never had this before, so I'm looking forward to it. May not even be strawberry jam in there, I don't know, don't care, it looks amazing. And all for €6.40. There you go. A little square on the way to the main Palazzo del Campo, and behind me, the little palace there, is quite an important building. It's the headquarters of the Monte dei Paschi, which is the oldest bank in the world. It's not some small little operation either. It's got a few hundred branches in Italy. Well, it did actually it had a few closures over the recent years, like most banks, but it is still a proper active bank. So the bank was actually founded in 1472, as it's actually what's known as a Mount of Piety, which is what the name means. It basically is a pawnbroker, charity pawnbrokers. Then it became a bank, a proper bank in 1672. And a statue behind me is a statue of a priest called Salustio Bandini, and he was one of the first sort of true economists in Italy. So this is the traditional economic hubs. People think of Florence as one of the homes of banking, but you know, Siena, it's an old Tuscan rival, and it has the oldest bank still going. Where the Medici Bank disappeared many years ago. So onwards into the centre to the Piazza del Campo. And here we are at one of the most beautiful public squares in the world, Piazza del Campo in Siena, the iconic square. You've probably seen it before without realising. If you've seen the James Bond movie Quantum of Solace, this was the location of that big horse race. That was in the big action scene at the start when the traitor helped Mr. White escape and Bond's chasing him through the streets. This is where it all happens. So, it's the main public square. Now it's divided into 9 sections on the actual the cobbles. There are 8 lines radiating out from the town. These represent the Nosecchi, or the 9. This was the organisation, like a cabinet, that ruled Siena between 1292 and 1355. And this actual space was established long before that as a public space. Like way before the 12th century at least, but it was fully paved in 1359 and it's been pretty much like this ever since. So what about the horse race? Well, there's actually 2. Excuse me, getting a bit dark. So there's actually 2 horse races that happen every year. They're called the Palio, and what happens is, let me just get on my notes. So there are 17 wards in Siena, and 10 of them contest this Palio. So each one has a horse, and I think that they're picked on the day. I think it's drawn by lots, and then it's just a single lap race of the square. It's very, I'm sorry, it's 3 laps, so not 1 lap, and only takes 90 seconds. But these are the biggest events in Siena, and they happen twice a year. Once on the 2nd of July, that's called the Palio di Provenzano, which is in honour of the Madonna of Provenzano. I'm guessing that's some sort of an apparition like Fatima or something like that, maybe. I didn't check. And then on the 16th of August there's the Palio dell'Assunta, which is in honour of the Assumption of the Virgin Mary. It's still an active square. I mean, it's not just restaurants and bars. There are apartments just lining this square, and it must be amazing to have an apartment with or without a balcony on this square. You just open up on a day like this and you've got the Palazzo, and you've got obviously the tourists could probably be a bit annoying, but wow, it must be just so beautiful to be here. Then there's also down there the Fonte Gaia, or the Joyous Fountain, and that was built in 1419, and it's adorned on 3 sides with bas-reliefs featuring a Madonna surrounded by classical and Christian virtues, and the usual kind of Renaissance depictions of the themes that they cared about back then. It was originally built by Jacopo della Queccia, who's bas-reliefs one. So the original ones are no longer. These are replacements. The original are considered the Ospedale di Santa Maria della Scala in Piazza Duomo, and by the cathedral. And then of course there's the Palazzo Pubblico, which is that building here, and the Torre del Mangia, the Campanile there. So the Palazzo Pulco was begun in 1297 and it was the seat of the Republic government. Siena used to be its own republic before it was conquered by Florence and became part of Tuscany. Oh, there's a bit of a tourist group coming through. Let them go through. There's a lot of tourists here today. There's also a lot of cyclists, you know, lycra clad with their studded boots, locking into the pedals. There's a lot of cyclists in my hostel as well. So this was, say, the seat of the Republican government, which was made of the Podesta, the chief magistrate, and the Nosecchi, the Council of Nine. And the interior is lined with frescoes. A fresco by Lorenzetti called the Allegory of Good and Bad Government. So they always used to try and promote good governance at the time, whether they did it or not. They'll have a lot better than we do these days. The tower was built between 1325 and 1344. Back then it was the tallest building in Italy. And it's been used and it's been copied around the world. For example, you've got the Dock Tower in Grimsby, which is quite a famous one in England, and the Chamberlain Memorial Clock at the University of Birmingham. There you go. So we've got the Elizabeth Tower, they have the Torre del Mangia. So I'm just going to have a look around, enjoy this beautiful square. I've already breakfast. I might have to sit down and get another quick coffee just to be able to sit here and enjoy a cappuccino on this wonderful, wonderful location. I didn't touch any of the actual volumes, although there wasn't any restrictions, so I guess maybe I could have. But the panel, so it's pretty much an exhibition of these panels. Some of them were depicting events from history of Siena, others were sort of more religious and artwork. And pretty interesting place. Maybe I could have actually looked at the volumes, it would have been quite fascinating, but yeah, it was free. Just a lot of stairs going. We're walking down them now. And yeah, it's not well signposted. And there was something going on, some discussion, some forum. Oh god, I tripped on these steps. Oh, I'm sober. So that was pretty interesting. Unfortunately, there was no translations for any of the panels, so there were a couple of little bits I could translate, but not enough. So if you do really interested in what they are, then just take photographs of the explanations and put it through Google Translate, or just use Google Translate on your phone. But yeah, pretty interesting. So it's coming to 11 o'clock. It's a hot day, so I should probably try and hydrate. I've got a bottle of water, but maybe I should sit down and hydrate and think where to go next. So back out into the hot Tuscan sun. I decided to have a little break for little bit of gelato and a cappuccino that's on its way. Well, this is apparently a starter, so I'm so glad I only ordered a side. Even the side's going to be difficult to eat. Well, this is it. I'm looking forward to it now. Perfect choice. Magnificent piece of architecture, Siena Cathedral, as one of the most stunning buildings I've ever seen. It was complete. The construction began in 1196 and it was consecrated in 1215. Now, some sources will say that it was completed in 1348. It's kind of true, but not quite. Construction was stopped in 1348. There was an extension to the nave that was being constructed, but then the Black Death came along and that was stopped. And then years later, when they looked at restarting the project, there was some structural problems were found, and so the nave was never completed. So technically, it's an uncompleted building, but it's only a nave extension. It's not the main cathedral building that's incomplete. It's a mix of Italian Gothic, Romanesque, and classical styles, and the facade is incredible. I've never seen a facade like it. And yeah, so this is one of the most beautiful cathedrals I've ever seen. So I'm going to go inside, check out the interior, see if the interior matches up to the exterior. That building is unbelievable, and it should be at the top of everyone's to-visit list, their bucket list for travel. I was thinking earlier that, he's always said that Florence is my favourite Italian city, but I really think already Siena has topped that. It's been such a big surprise, and this building, wow, you've just got to come and see it if you get the chance. And the mighty brickwork behind me is the Fortezza Medicea, the Medici fortress. This is a very important part of Sienese history because Siena was a republic in its own right for many years, for many centuries. But its big rival was Florence, just to the north of here. They fought a few wars, but then eventually, and what year was it? Not sure. It was the Battle of Marciano. That was when Florence finally defeated Siena and completely subsumed it and brought it into the Republic of Florence, I guess, and then Tuscany, and eventually Italy. So this building represents the end of Sienese independence. It was built on the orders of Duke Cosimo de' Medici. It was built between 1561 and 1563. It was here to solidify Florence's dominance and control over Siena. So kind of a sad building. But yeah, Siena was a powerful state in its own right for many years, with its own culture, its own, architectural magnificence, its own military dominance as well. But it all ended right here at the Fortress Medicea. That is Siena, all done and dusted, and what an absolutely magnificent place this is. It's so beautiful. I was so blown away by the square and by the cathedral. It's, yeah, just the place definitely have to come back to. I think it's now, it's now number one on my list of Italy. I had a bit of a late night, which is the only late night I could get. So I'm not too hungover. I didn't get blind drunk. I actually walked back uphill to the hostel, and now I'm walking downhill. I just couldn't be bothered waiting for some taxis, and the bus doesn't come till quite late. So it's a beautiful day again. It's already 20 degrees, and I've probably going a bit higher than that, and it's only just gone 10 o'clock. So I'm walking to the station. It's all downhill from here, physically, so I don't have to worry about lugging my suitcase up steep inclines. It's not going to be too bad, and the station's kind of halfway between the hostel and the city centre, so not too long. Yeah, so if you ever do come to Siena, I'd definitely recommend this place. Obviously not when the weather's bad. It could be, those tents may not be the nicest place to be in, but that's just camping anyway. But weather like this, absolutely perfect. So off I go to get the bus, and by mid-afternoon, about 5 o'clock, I'll be in Parma. So see you then.